What's going on, guys? For today's Mook review, we're taking a look at Girls Plamo Style Volume 2. We did take a look at Volume 1 previously, and in Volume 1, it featured a lot of Kotobukiya and Max Factory and other companies' mecha musume style model kits, and a little bit of 30 Minutes Sisters. This time, they flipped it around, and Volume 2 is centered primarily, mostly around the 30 Minutes Sisters line, but we will see some other stuff in here as well, as far as some other different mecha musume style model kits. There will be a little bit of that, but we've got a whole bunch of really awesome content in here dedicated to the 30 Minute Sisters line, and then just like I said, other mecha musume style model kits as well. So let's go ahead and get into it for today's video. Anyway, there's a lot to get through, so let's get right into it. We've got a couple of kits right here on the front, a custom build over here on this side, a nice build of the Idol Masters series there, the shiny colors model kit there from the 30 Minute Sisters line, and right here in the center, it is letting you know there is going to be Megami Device, Freedom's Girl, Sosai Shoujo Teian, Megalomaria, VFG, that's the Variable Fighters girls from Aoshima, the Macross girls, as well as Guilty Princess, Cheeto Serum, and more in this Mook. This is 2,420 yen for the MSRP for this, so about $20, less than $20, not too bad. This is soft bound, it doesn't have a hard side, but it is pretty thick. This is going to go to about 115 pages almost. Here on the back side, you can see a preview of some of the custom builds that are going to be featured in here. A lot of cool stuff, I'm sure. Oh, actually, 2,200 yen for the MSRP. 2,420 is with tax, with the 10% tax on there. Anyway, still pretty reasonable price here for the MSRP for this one. And we do have a little something extra inside here. You can see the photograph of this right here. You get this extra kind of slightly thicker, like cardstock. It's basically just a paper, but it's a paper that you can bend and fold like this in order to make as like a backdrop for your idol kits, something like that you can use. I'm probably not going to use that, but just going to leave that there to the side for right now. Let's get into it. Here on the inside, we got an advertisement right off the bat for the Megalomaria line and Sosai Shoujo Teian there, just kind of a crossover. Some very cool kits, and I guess actually this is a different Mook that's available. This is the Megalomaria starter book. So, okay, very interesting. It's not one that I've seen anything about, but I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on that one. Over here is our table of contents, and let's get into it. All right, so 30 Minute Sisters. Yes, like I said, it didn't really have much, but like a couple of pages in Volume 1, but in Volume 2 here, it's the main attraction. So here you can see a collection of some of the works that we're going to see in here. Some custom works, some idol works, and a lot of really cool stuff. So here is what's 30 Minute Sisters. This is something we've been over in a couple of other books. I've done Mook reviews for a couple of dedicated 30 Minute Sisters Mooks, which were really, really nice, so check those out if you guys are fans. This is a pretty nice breakdown, basically featuring some of the box art from some of the mainline 30 Minute Sisters kits here, including, I think this one was P Bandai, and that one was P Bandai. But yeah, cool stuff. So here's the 30 Minute Sisters interview with Kanetake Ebikawa and Yosuke Moroka. And we got some cool artwork over here, just kind of a character planning artwork, which is quite interesting there. So that's cool to see. And I'm sure it's a very interesting conversation, obviously all in Japanese here, so it would take a little bit of translating to get all that sorted. But if you're interested, I'm sure it's definitely a very interesting read. A little bit over here about the Spinatia and Atrabi, two of the more recent releases in the 30 Minutes Missions line, but they're definitely kind of more, a little bit more kind of styled, a little bit like mecha versions of the 30 Minute Sisters line, basically, right? So they're very, especially the Atrabi in particular, quite feminine in their styling. We also have the new arrival information. So this is some stuff that's kind of new, coming out at the time when this Mook was released. This Mook was just released about a month or two ago, not too long now, so it's fairly recent at the time of recording this here. So basically we have one new main kit that's coming out here, and then some more idol stuff that is on the way as well at the moment. And we have our first custom here, which is the Alka Carti in Chaser costume patrol form. This one's modeled and described by Akira Sakai. Not a name that I'm familiar with, but I'll have to check him out. I'm sure he's probably on Twitter, but it's pretty cool, like a kind of police bike and themed build here for the Alka Carti kit, which is hardly recognizable. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Some of these custom builds, if they don't have the name in there, it's going to be hard for me to identify them, just because there's so many different ones, and probably any of these custom builds in here, they're going to be all a mix of different parts. Like it'll be a head and hair parts, or hair parts from one of the custom sets, and body parts from one kit, and arms or legs from one of the different body sets or something like that. So hopefully everything is pretty well identified for us, because otherwise it's going to be difficult for me to identify it for you, but we're just going to be checking out these cool builds here. So this is the Ilshana. Next here in Commander costume, guide form. This one also by Akira Sakai, which I don't think they're all going to be. I'll say, yeah. So the next ones are going to be by some different modelers, but this one here has got like a kind of rickshaw kind of equipment over here. So both of these kits kind of having the theme of the character with a piece of equipment there, basically, for both of these. Kind of interesting, but beautiful builds here, of course, and great for reference images, not only maybe just like for the actual custom builds themselves, but maybe just like color ideas, color scheme ideas, if you're wanting to make your own custom works of any of these kits, or if you like really like this color scheme and wanted to apply that onto like a Megalamaria kit or something, for example. These books and following these different modelers on Twitter is a great way to get a lot of inspiration, ideas that you can borrow. All right, next one here. These two kits are modeled and described by Dai-san. We got the Neverelia in Evil costume Jester form and Rishetta in Fang costume Jester form here. So a dual build of the two of these, kind of styled to go together anyway, with the red, black, and white color scheme and kind of gold on their both kind of magical staff looking sort of weapons. Jester forms, which do also kind of give me like a little bit of sort of Alice in Wonderland vibes, just with the whole kind of like color scheme, like Queen of Hearts and fantasy kind of styling here of this. Could also be that I just built the Queen of Hearts Megami Device kit as well, so which is maybe why that's in my mind, but that's definitely kind of the vibe that I'm getting from these as well. But pretty cool models here. Really nice custom builds of these couple of kits. And every time when I look at one of these books, I always say it and I always think it that I really want to make some of my own custom builds, because I've reviewed, you know, a bunch of 30 Minutes Missions and 30 Minutes Sisters kits, and not ever made anything quite like this, my own painted custom build. And I really need to at some point. So hopefully maybe that'll be something that I'll get to in the near future here. But next one, this is Stripla Steroi, kind of a very interesting name there. Vanquish form. This one's modeled and described by Nick, friend of the channel, Nick. I'm sure I've probably seen this build. I'm sure Nick has probably shared it on Twitter, although I don't recall at the moment, but it is very cool here. Sort of a little bit kind of Deep Striker vibes it's giving me, just with like these long fuel tanks at the back, the huge cannon up there over the shoulder, and this kind of like space. It's very mecha themed. You have like the musume aspect is there, but it's a whole lot of mecha there. It's more sort of like it really reminds me of like a frame arms kit, to be honest. Frame arms girl or frame arms, but it's like a frame arms kits, mecha kit there, and with the girl kind of added in there as well. But over here you can see her kind of out of the exosuit and just kind of outside there with much less armor and everything going on. Looks really nice. Really cool build there, but I would expect nothing less from Nick. One of my favorite modelers, I'll say. So definitely recommend checking him out on Twitter, Nikh spelled. All right, now we're getting into some of the idol model kits here. These are by Rika. I got some nice custom builds here of the three main characters from like the first wave of the Shiny Colors Idol Masters series, and a little bit about the kits over here. This is like the official promo images and everything from Bandai, and over here this photo is the custom builds. Custom builds in that they're painted builds, not necessarily customized. We got Mano Sakuragi here for the main character of the first wave. And then we have Hiyori Kazano is one of the other characters that you can make. There's not a full set available of her specifically. You have to get like a couple of sets and put them together to make her, as well as our third character here, Meguru Hachiyamiya. But there's some really nice builds here of the three main characters from the first wave. And then as we saw at the start there, we do have more on the way. So here's a couple of bits here pointing out some of the custom parts here, or basically just some of the finer points of details added to this really nice custom build. And pretty cool how like the little tuft of like fur that you have at like the back end of the cape there are painted in three different colors, blue, red, and yellow, or kind of like blue, pinkish, and yellow. But anyway, they're meant to be blue, red, yellow kind of themed right there. So that's pretty cool. I'm guessing that's tied to like, I don't know offhand, but my guess would be that's tied to their colors of like the lights that the audience use at like the concerts and stuff. every character I know usually has like their own color or light. So I'm guessing that's what that is related to. But you guys can let me know in the comments, because I'm sure one of you knows. But all right, here we have another custom build here using the Alpha Sisters Phantasm body like costume set. It's another costume set out in the crossover line. This one's modeled by MF at Ifrit. Okay, anyway, so very interesting custom builds here of the characters, and using some different, using like a mix of some different 30 Minute Sisters parts for these kind of matching offset kits here, where you have like the legs are in opposite colors and the kits are also kind of in opposite colors, the purple and the yellow here. We do have some work in progress images, and we have had for like the past few builds as well. There we have a little bit of work in progress in this Mook, but not a whole lot. Mostly it's going to be focused on like the finished painted builds, of course. But here and there we do have some work in progress images, which are also nice to see. Helpful, especially for stuff like this where you kind of have to really look at it for a while. Unless these are the kind of kits that you like build a lot of, you do kind of have to really take your time to focus, figure out like, okay, this part is from there, those parts on the head are from this kit, these leg or shoe parts or whatever, for example, are from a different kit. There's a lot of mixing and matching, so having these work in progress photos, and I'm sure there's useful information in the text as well that kind of lays out where some of the different parts are from, but it's nice to have that in there. So we got a few more photos here of this duo of kits, and we're on to the June art planning custom build here of this stage display, which is like what we have for that added extra bit that we have for this. So just a custom stage here made for 30 Minute Sisters, and a nice work in progress layout here of the entirety of the work in progress. Not like super duper detailed, but definitely very interesting to see some of the work in progress that went into making this custom base. And here we see an action with the idle kits there on the stage. Very cool. Definitely something cool to make if that's what you're into with these kits. Got the illumination stars there, and then with the custom kits here as well, Rasheda Topaz and Neverelia Aquamarine. Very interesting. Okay, all right, so another photo here of the collection of all 5 of those idol characters, and then we're moving on to Megami Device. So basically this page was our center page, so basically the entire first half is all 30 Minute Sisters, and that might be the end of it. I was expecting actually more than half to be 30 Minute Sisters, but it looks like, yeah, it's gonna be half exactly. And then for the second half, we're on to other stuff. So this is obviously gonna be the Buster Doll Gunner. Hamayumi for this one. Nice, very nice custom build here of the Buster Doll Gunner. Really, really cool kit. If you guys have not checked out the Buster Doll line, it's kind of a sub-line of Megami Device kits from Kotobukiya, I would highly recommend it. So far, this is the only one that I've built, but the third one actually in the line I think just came out. And so I have the second and third one on the way to me at the moment. I'll be reviewing them soon. Very much looking forward to it, but the Buster Doll was so nice. Really, really nice kit. The Megami Device line has always been good, but these kits do really take it to the next level and just making it that much better. So definitely. I'm not overhyping it. Definitely, if you guys have built the kits, you know what I mean. If you've built a number of Megami Device kits and you built one of the Buster Doll kits, you know that they take a great line and make it even better. So can't recommend them enough. Really cool custom build here of this. I like the kind of like Shinto styling to this here with the ribbon parts and also these kind of folded paper parts there in white and pink. Very nice painting on this as well too, of course. Got frame arms in here as well, the Durga 2. This is one that I do have here that I need to review for you guys, so I'll get to that in the near future, but look forward to that review. Anyway, here's a really cool custom build of the Durga 2. Love the design. The Durga, both as the frame arms kit and frame arms girl kit, has been very cool in its multiple variations. It is a really nice kit, one that I can definitely recommend. Again, whether you're more a fan of the frame arms or the frame arms girl version, I could highly recommend either of them, so definitely check out. This one's by another friend of the channel, Blondie51. So Nick and Blondie were our two very esteemed guest judges in the Mecha Musume modeling contest that we did before. So they're often featured in these kind of MOOCs, so not too surprising, but nice to see some beautiful builds here from both of them. So really, really nice build here from Blondie-san of the Durga 2. Very cool. I like the mix of the clear yellow and the clear red parts there for the weapon. It's very cool. Very nicely done. All right, we got some Sosai Shoujo Teien up next here. This one's modeled and described by Moka Monaka, another pretty prolific mecha musume, especially modeler on Twitter. Definitely worth checking out and worth a following. Really nice build here of the Bukiko Kotobuki character from that line, kind of a Frame Arms Girl crossover, and you can see the other Frame Arms Girl crossover kit, which I can't remember the name of offhand, but there she is there. And we do have a little bit of work in progress photos here kind of along the way as well. These look like they're the official photos from the release of the kit. So I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to go back and look, but I would imagine that these are the official photos. So kind of cool that you can see these here in the magazine form. And there's some really cool images over here of the after school set for her as well, which is like the desk and airbrush and everything. So that's pretty awesome. All right, now some Megalomaria stuff here. This one's modeled and described by Pomkuma. Not a name that I'm familiar with, but this one I do actually also have here in the queue that I'll be building and reviewing for you guys soon. This one as well, also I think the third one actually just came out in this line as well. So like the Buster Doll line and the Megalomaria line are kind of coming out hand in hand. And I've got a little bit of catching up to do in this line as well, but this is the Nurse, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. Oh, just Nurse themed, it's not named Nurse, sorry, it's the Ruby Eye, that's what it is. This is the Ruby Eye Dark Hero version. And yeah, just like with the Buster Doll line, cannot recommend the Megalomaria line enough. Now, if the style is not exactly to your taste, there is some nice variety in the style of the first few releases that we have so far. So definitely check them out if there's one that you find appealing. They're definitely worth checking out. So nice just in terms of the articulation and the construction of them. They're really fantastic. So here we've got a crossover kind of with one of the Sosai Shoujo Teien kits here, because in universe, I guess Megalomaria is actually a TV show that exists in the Sosai Shoujo Teien kind of larger universe at large, I guess would be the maybe better way to put that. But yeah, so I guess like some of the characters in the Sosai Shoujo Teien line, I can't remember which one exactly, but is like an actress that plays one of the Megalomaria characters in the Megalomaria TV show, something like that. There is a full like kind of extended universe for that stuff, which is pretty interesting, that Kotobuki is trying to tie all their different lines together, which is very cool. All right, we got the Koenig Monster in Cafe Terrace here. This is the VFG girl, or the Variable Fighter girls line from Aoshima. As I mentioned before, they're like mecha musume versions of some Macross designs, which is very cool. This one, it might be sounding like a broken record at this point, but this one I do also have right over here in my queue as well that I'll be building and reviewing in the near future for you guys. But yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, I have always a very extensive stack in my to-do list. And so yeah, a number of these kits that we're looking at here today in this MOOC are a part of that. So if there's any ones of these that you're like really interested in seeing more about the Ruby Eye or this particular kit that you would really like to see sooner than others, let me know and I'll definitely take that into consideration. Leave a comment and let me know. Say, hey, I really want to see that Koenig Monster kit. And yeah, I'll try to get to it sooner than later. But all of these kits, of course, I'll be reviewing eventually at some point. It's just kind of a matter of getting to everything. But this one's pretty cool. Really nice to see this in this alternate color scheme in pink. Of course, it matches the kind of mecha musume aesthetic, right? But it does look really cool to see this kit here in this alternate color scheme. Very interesting. Not really too much that necessarily screams like cafe about it. If it would have used like some like custom parts from like one of the after school sets from like the Kotobukiya Sosai Shoujo Teien after school sets with like some actual like teacups, like mugs, or not, well yeah, mugs or cups, like the boba cups and stuff like that, that you can get from those sets. Kind of would have helped to play into the whole cafe aspect of it, but still, yeah. Very cool indeed. Okay, so we got some Guilty Princess here up next from Max Factory. These are two kits here, modeled and described by Yoshuan and Koneko Shippo. So again, a couple of familiar names there. Really nice builds here of these kits. These kits are also quite interesting. Here we have artwork of the two kits and like some of the production photos there of these two. And these kits are both ones that I've built and reviewed, I think, unless these are the newer. There's like a couple of newer versions, and I think that maybe these are not the ones. Yeah, these are not these are the made versions. So I've not built and reviewed these, but I did build and review the underwear versions of these, basically, which are very similar. Basically, they have mostly all the same parts, but they don't have like the particularly made themed parts to them. But anyway, so in a sense, I have reviewed these kits before. You can check out those reviews if you'd like. These are really nicely painted, especially in the eyes. Yeah, you can see the work in progress here for the eye painting. It's definitely one thing that stood out here in this very first photo. You can see the eyes are really, really nicely done. So those are custom painted there rather than using the decals. And you can see a comparison with the decal eyes versus the custom painted eyes. They look so much more lifelike. It's really nice. Okay, and then Cheeto Serum here we're gonna have in here as well. This kit is actually another kit that I did just recently build and review. The VI Carbonia Graphites kit from Cheeto Serum line from Max Factory. And this one is highly customized because you can like still recognize the main body of the Carbonia Graphites there, but there's a lot of extra parts gonna added around onto it from other releases from the Cheeto Serum line. It looks like most everything is from that line, as far as I can tell, everything that's used here for this custom build, but a very nice custom build there. I love the colors for this, a very unique, very like light pastel color scheme for this. Looks quite interesting and very contrasty too, because I have like all these like really nice light pastel colors and then some like black parts in there as well for some really nice contrast. Very nice painting. Okay, so up next here, it looks like there's a little bit of like a girls Plamo history here. So you can see like going from the Hoi Hoi San kits to the Fantasy Star Online kits to the Frame Arms series, starting off with the Go Rai. And then it's like skipping way ahead to the Sosai Shoujo Teien line. You have stuff from Bandai like the Figure Eyes kits, the Figure Eyes Labo kits, Figure Eyes Bust and Figure Eyes Labo kits, for example. It's a very interesting kind of taking a look back at kind of the history of mecha musume model kits, 30-Minute Sisters, and then some of this other stuff here from Max Factory, for example. Very interesting. All right, Girls Plamo Frontline here. This looks like this is going to be advertisements for some upcoming releases from a bunch of different companies. So this is also not all entirely model kits, or is it? Yeah, I think they're pretty much all model kits there, it looks like. So from all the different companies there, as you can see. And the next one here is a girls plastic model rescue team. So this looks like it's gonna be like some helpful tips for just kind of making your kits look a little bit nicer. For example, just basically everything over here seems to be pretty much just like how to better get rid of your nub marks and mold lines on the flesh tone colored parts, for example, which yeah, definitely you should do, which you can basically just do by sanding and buffing those parts pretty much. Pretty straightforward. Getting rid of the mold lines on the weapons parts, getting rid of the mold lines on face parts, everything's pretty much just a matter of sanding or using like a ceramic scraper or something like that, for example, on those weapons parts. So yeah, just about getting rid of mold lines on your 30-Minute Sisters kit there, for example. And then a photography guide here as well. It's also very nice. So it's a little bit about kind of lighting, and it seems like it's mostly about the actual photography process, not necessarily like posing guide for photography, but just lighting and everything like that, exposure and direction of your lighting and everything. So that's kind of cool. All right, that's quite the illustration that we have over here. If I remember correctly, from Volume 1 also, there was an illustration sort of similar like this. I think it featured an illustration of the Frame Arms Girl Type 48, the Kagotsuchi Ko, if I remember correctly maybe, but I don't recall exactly. Megami Device Creators Labo over here. Looks like this is kind of a little bit about testing some alternate color schemes for the Soul Raptor there, for example. That's kind of interesting to see that in different color schemes. And some other different custom builds. So Girls Plamo Circle over here. So these are all, it looks like, submitted by, or I don't know if they're submitted or just selected, curated by some other different modelers. Some of these do look familiar. A lot of them not though, and they are numbered, and down here at the bottom it's going to be pretty much impossible for you guys to see on the video, I think, but the names of the modelers are here down at the bottom, so probably you could search them out. I'm sure, again, probably a lot of them are on Twitter, you could probably find them. So if there was one that like you're like, oh, that looks really cool, go, let's see, number 8, Ushinyan. So if you just search Ushinyan on Twitter, you might be able to find that model there. So anyway, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. Some of the pictures are quite small, kind of hard to see, but a lot of really cool stuff. Continued on here to the next page as well. And yeah, some of this stuff I do definitely recognize that I have seen before. But yeah, like I was saying at the beginning of the Mook here, one thing, seeing all these builds, like all the builds that we've seen so far, and then all these too, is that it's great for inspiration. So like, for example, currently I'm in the process of just starting painting my Kotobukiya Stratohound kit, and I was kind of really struggling to think of what I wanted to do for the color scheme for that, and what I ended up doing is actually just going on Twitter and just looking at a bunch of different builds and just trying to get some different ideas. Both custom builds like this and also just like character artwork and stuff like that, just to get some ideas. So a little bit more kind of here about using that thing that we have included there. So just kind of how to use that with your kits, which it's quite small, to be honest. I think like, obviously it had to like fit inside the book here, so they couldn't really make it any bigger unless it would have been like full size and folded in half. I think that probably would have been the better way to go with that. But as you can see, like your kits are not really going to necessarily fit in there super well, but anyway, it's a kind of cool little backdrop that you can use for your kits. We got the credits here. The 30-Minute Sisters Mook, this is the one that we have taken a look at before. So yeah, if you want to check out this Mook, I think if I remember correctly, that was the one that was like really, really good. There was one that was amazing. If you're a fan of 30-Minute Sisters, that Mook was really, really nice. Definitely check it out. But let me know in the comments, what were some of your favorite builds from today? There was a lot of really cool stuff in there. Nice to see 30 Minutes Missions getting plenty of attention in this one. After, like I said, Volume 1 didn't really get a whole lot, but obviously it's a pretty prolific line. Anything from Bandai is going to be a pretty prolific, and so cool to see that. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. If you guys want to check out some of these kits for yourself, check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Of course, most of this stuff we either have in stock or it's on the way, or it might be getting restocked in the future. Of course, you can check out the website. And as always, if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a like, making sure that you're subscribed, that way you won't miss future Mook reviews, and I would just appreciate your guys' support. So thank you so much. Till next time, hope you guys all have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.